Hello my friends, returning subscribers and those on YouTube that have randomly gone and clicked. I've got an incredibly exciting game. I'm always going to say that. I'm never going to say, oh, I've got this real boring, run-of-the-mill, scrape-in-the-barrel game. Now, I've got a great 6 versus 6 for you today when people are dressing up as ghosts and goblins, but the real fright, at least for our American friends, is the family reunion at Thanksgiving. All right, let's make a start then and see exactly what we've got. Going to be a northwest versus southeast. So today, northwest in yellow. If I unpause the game, there we go. Northwest in yellow, team 1, team 2 down there in southeast. Team 2 enjoying a small advantage. 8,897 is the totals for the players up top. 8,970 is the player rating totals down here, giving these guys down here 73 points across the board, which works out about 12 points per player, so it's not entirely zero. Alright then, let's start introducing our players as they're already getting factories online. We'll start down here, Team 2. In blue is Lieutenant... is it Lich? Sometimes it truncates. Lieutenant-lich, it is indeed, going cyber in their first land, 1600. To his right in orange is Mastermandel, 1400 going UEF there, orange first land. We'll continue around anti-clockwise. In marker pen yellow, we've got Kent 10, 1500 going Cybran in the rear there, first air. To his north in red is Citrus 984. He's going UEF first land as a 1700 UEF player. To his north in gold, we've got Spectre Slave 137. He's going Seraphim first land. And last but not least, in the mid for Team 2 in white is FrostMonster, 1200 UEF going first land, making his way to the mid. Switching over then to Team 1, while there's some sort of ridiculous jokes as to who's doing what. Seems most of the discussion is from Team 1. First position then, we've got Mui, 1800 Cybran there. In purple going first land. Mui's to the highest rate player in today's game. Continuing around with our theme of anti-clockwiseness is the OA, or the Original Angel, having gone 1100. That was a freaky series. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. The Original Angel, oh my goodness. Exploring the whole thing to do, you know, with the whole near-death experience thing. And well, it's freaky. If you haven't seen it, worth checking out, at least the first few episodes. In any case, far too much unrelated material there. Original Angel, 1100 Seraphim going first land. Continuing around in the rear with the gear for Team 1 in yellow is Ghost Monkey, 1400 going UEF first land. Continuing around in purple, we've got, or lilac perhaps should we say, is Snoog. I did say Mui was the highest rated player in today's game, and then I just realised I'm blind, because it's actually this guy here. Snoog, UEF Commander, going first land. Also, apologies for that, Snoog. There'd have been about 500 of you screaming at the screen, it's not Mui! Yeah. Continuing down, I shouldn't have actually said anything, and then I'd have got a comment from somebody that never leaves a comment telling me that I make mistakes. You know, because there are those people. They only leave comments when you make a mistake, and to be fair, I'm probably one of those people myself. Is Burger... come on, stick to the game. In brown is BeregiSvoyPookan. BeregiSvoyPookan. I think we'll just go with... no, Beregi. We'll see how that works. And the last but not least for Team 1, and to complete the introductions, is Dusky, or Dusky 805, 1100 rated, also going Cybran, also going first land. And with that, introductions are complete. We'll take a little look at the map. Reclaim values very light, as you can see on the reclaim. We did see that there are some little rocks dotted around these cliff sides. There was one or two slightly larger pieces of rock, but nothing too insane. If we take a look on the totals, yes, just under 10,000. I'm sure it was closer to 15 at the start of the game. map size, if we take a little look today, is 16.25 kilometers by 16.25. And so there we have it. Dusky appears to be the first commander to make it to the mid, but looks like he's only here to go for mass points. Say a more standard build there from FrostMonster, going with factories. We've got some early raids here from Mui. With the Cybron Bomber, what's he got there? One single kill and plenty of scouts, as well as 1 or 2 interceptors from his friend as well, seeing what's what. Although Citrus there picking off the bomber after its second kill. The 2 engineers were quite far from base. As regulars, all those who play the game will know, those engineers are always worth a bit more than the engineers close to base. And that's why Mui was going for them. Otherwise, we can see back here, being of course a Neuroxis map gen, there's always a bit of who's going to get which mass points. And air slot there, Ghost Monkey, how's it compare? Actually, both of the air slots not really with too many mass points. It's fair to say Dusky's got 1 or 2 more than his direct opposite number. We can see Spectre Slave with slightly more, it would seem, than the Original Angel. Bombing run there, bags himself an engineer for Lieutenant-lich, or Leech, I think we'll just go with Lieutenant. And annoying little Zooey raid there. Lieutenant deals with that. And somewhere I can hear a little Celine, here it is, despite being zoomed out, making all the noise in the world. And is dealt with. Commanders from Team 1 getting upgrades. Looks like FrostMonster's going to win that fight, having put down some factories. A single engineer to assist the upgrade, going for the T2. Snoog doing similar. Dusky going for the gun instead. Still with raids, and the first real Navy action here. Mui up against Spectre Slave. Similar numbers so far. Spectre going for the U-boats. Mui's gone a little heavier on the frigates, although does have a couple of subs in there as well. But I think upsetting matters somewhat. Citrus here flying a transport up the side, and I'm guessing there's absolutely no radar coverage, and I'm guessing nobody saw it go that way either. Svoy over here with the annoying Zooies going across the ways. Lieutenant's gonna have to think of something to shut that down. Get some bombers over there, jesters, or better yet, Tech 2 point defense if he can. We've got a little raid here from FrostMonster. Doesn't look like it's going to go too far. Dusky there, able to shut it down. But look at this. Spectre Slave's also gone ahead with the annoying Zooies. We've got Mui here, who's already struggling, I think it was fair to say, being outnumbered by the U-boats. And it looks like Spectre Slave's going nothing but U-boat. The artillery pieces there were finally dealt with, but not before losing 2 of the naval yards. Got Mui is actually trying to go for a Tech 2 naval yard here. He's 95% on the way there. He's forced into producing torpedo launchers at the T1 stage to try and deal with these subs. Now we've got Tech 1 bombers. That was a beautiful run there. I don't know how many engineers just went down. Too many to count, but that was a one-shot beauty. Spectre slaves in the water there. Together with the subs, I suspect he's using his commander to divert some of the attacks from these torpedo launchers here, allowing his subs to have a little more time on target, sending more Tech 1 bombers in. We do have these frigates here, but once again, 3 engineers. Bowie's definitely requiring those. He's trying to get this first T2 ship open, the destroyer. And he's just about able to keep these artilleries at bay with his frigates and the subs at bay with the torpedo launchers. On the other side, well, Lieutenant having virtually kicked out Team 1 from the pond. We've got 1 sub and 1 naval yard there. So I think it's fair to say things going quite well for Team 2 down there. Things much more in flux, meanwhile, in the northern ponds. Mui desperately needs to win this, otherwise it would appear that his team is going to be completely ejected from the water. And finally, he's able to get a few units out of the immediate area. Come on, how long? We've got 80% on the way to this first destroyer, and he needs it now. And it looks like Citrus is able to be completely unmolested up there. He's gone ahead and gotten a couple of naval yards online for production capacity, and 1 navy yard up to T2, and it looks like he's going for destroyer as well. Citrus, who's the UEF player. And Team 2 very heavy with the Tech 1 bombers here, just continuing to wreak havoc versus the engineers there, the build capacity. And Team 1, I think it's fair to say, struggling a little bit, although all that may be about to change as Mui gets himself his first destroyer on at 11.5 minutes. And it looks like that's been enough to persuade Spectre Slave to back off. Have a some spy planes over here from the Original Angel, who will be able to see that there's a destroyer. There's a ping gone out over there from Team 1. I can only assume that's been from Mui, who's basically saying, get over there. There must be something from over there, because this is a red naval unit. Wrong faction as well as wrong colour. Spectre Slave going after the T1 and T2 destroyers there using Tech 1 bombers. And now Citrus throwing in torpedo bombers versus this navy. I think it's fair to say Mui's having a bit of a hard time here. He's been ganged up on both air and sea. Once again, I mean, look at this. 6 kills. That's only going to increase. Mui was able to get a point defense online to deal with some of the artilleries, but these are hover tanks. A second destroyer, meanwhile, out. This is not good at all. Mui's got nothing to stop these torpedo bombers. Just have a few interceptors for reasons not entirely clear to me. The interceptors are not engaging the torpedo bombers. This is not good at all. That must have been a misclick there. Spectre Slave having another go at the Navy here. This not good at all. All of these Zuis got themselves an open goal. And the factory hit points down to 5, 4, 3. Oh, it's close. 2.5, 2, 1. That's going to be it. The Tech 2 Navy there from Mui is down. We've also got some ASF now from Team 2 covering. And with more and more pressure here from Citrus all the time, this is not looking good. We've also got our first T2 unit there from the direct opponent of Mui. Seraphim, that was so annoying with those artillery pieces. Of course, these bombers. What's this? Snoog flying himself across. Got to be careful when the enemy has got an ASF majority. In fact, looks like Mastermandel has spotted it. He makes a play for the enemy commander. That was so close. And again, some strange targeting stuff going on or not going on here. Take a look at the southern pawn. Meanwhile, somehow Berge has managed to get himself a destroyer out. They've somehow been able to hold. Credit to them. They've already written them off, but no, we've got some individual units coming across here, including a naughty commander. Although it is a bear commander here, this lieutenant. It's no nanite torpedo launcher or anything like that. Speaking of nanite torpedo launchers, of course, we would have access to that as well, being Cybrant. For reasons not entirely clear, he didn't go for it. I guess he just didn't have the opportunity to do so. Being above the average for this game, well above 300 rating points or so, it's of course a legit target to snipe. And Citrus now picking off the coastal mechs there from Mui, who I think it's fair to say has been picked on, and everything he's tried to do has been shut down, and has now retreated back to base. OriginalAngel has somewhat of a presence on the front here, which is just as well, together with Dusky. Two of the lower rated players for their team being responsible to hold the line, although we do have Snoog lending a hand as well. In fact, Snoog seems one of his main objectives was to help keep this presence on. But yeah, the entire northern pond is well in the hands of Team 2 now. The southern pond had written it off, but no, it's still in flux. We have Snoog with a drop. He is it to try and repeat what... No, it's not a repeat of Citrus. We've got 3 Titans here on a T2 Starlifter, but unfortunately, look at this, it's been picked up. Kent paying attention, and that is going to be an expensive loss for the stage of the game. 3 Tech 3 units, down they go. I can only assume that they must have an Omni. I guess so. We can see... I'm not entirely confident. Oh, yes, they do. Either that, or it could have actually been these 2 Tech 1 scouts that are on the floor that spotted it. I think it were these 2 guys that spotted it. Citrus making landfall behind the area conquered by his navy. It's got 4 mass points here and a fair bit of reclaim as well, to be fair. It's at least 3,000 mass there, 2,871 to be precise. We've got our first push in the mid here, it seems. Dusky leading the charge with his units. Down to 5,000 foot. Gotta be careful. Just 8 overcharge. 2,000. Well, that went down quick. I think if he'd have been just a fraction behind some of the other units, a lot of that fire would have been redirected. I can only assume that FrostMonster prioritized the commander there above all else, ignoring the units. FrostMonster, who had a few, more than a few, T2 point defense there, the triads, as well as at least a couple of artillery pieces as well. So, yeah. Dusky doesn't understand. Oh, you walked into PD. Yeah, with Nano and gun, and I just melted to 4 PD. I think it was a couple more than that. And you had the artillery, the commander overcharging, and a few, although granted not many units there. It's all under a shield. Yeah. The cruisers now from Citrus forces Mui onto the defensive. And now this land incursion on the Upper East side. Yeah, so Tech 2-point defense. Creep, that's of course going to have to be defended with TAC missile defense as well. And, well, that is unfortunate. A Tech 2 mass point, look at that, 86% on the way to Tech 3. Is he going to be able to hold it? Well, there is some assistance there. Looks like he was thinking about it. He disappeared. Now he doubled back. Perhaps he thinks the extra hit points. There it is, just in the nick of time. I'm sure those last two barrages of artillery would have taken it off. And so he was able to hold at least there. Team 2 looking stronger in the southern pond as well now. And who also appear to have air. Got a little raid over here from FrostMonster. Berge standing firm, and that is the defensive units gone. As well as the naval yard there. And so there's a single destroyer that separates Team 1 from being completely evicted from all oceans. That's the only presence that they have. And Lieutenant making a move for that right now. Oh no, that T3 mechs that we saw. What's that, only being online for a minute or so? That certainly didn't pay for itself. Snoog assisting Mui. Perhaps it's a nice way to play, realizing that his teammate has got problems. And now it's up to OriginalAngel, who's also losing Tech 3 mass points now to just a few T1 artilleries. Berge going after Navy now with torpedo bombers as well as Tech 1 bombers, isolated destroyers. There's a lot more over here. A few interceptors there. We've got a push meanwhile with several siege tanks. We'll take a look at that in a minute as well. It's all kicking off. The Navy, the expansion here continues. Come on, OriginalAngel. Another Tech 3 mass point going down. These are hero artillery pieces, but there are some bricks now here from Mui. That will shut down some of that T1 spam. But this here, 5 siege tanks, another Tech 3 mass point there going down. Once again, belonging to Mui, who's really suffered in this game. I think it's fair to say. Finally, OriginalAngel with a suitable response. Some Tech 1 bombers versus this artillery. There we go. That's half of them dealt with. More mass points going down. Now we've got ASF going down. There's yet another Tech 3 mass point. Finally, those artillery pieces have been shot down. An ASF fight over Team 1's side of the base. Mastermandel certainly had numbers, but we've got 2 air players here from Team 1 playing together. Mastermandel backs off over the top of his cruisers. Team 1 want to chase them across that. And oh no, these siege tanks are right in the middle of Mui's base, who's got a Monkey Lord, a third on the way. Well, it's not often that the fusion reactor going up is an assistance to you, but I think in that case it certainly was. The 5 siege tanks surrounding the fusion reaction on all sides. 4 of them going down immediately. The 5th one heavily damaged. And OriginalAngel, the 1100 here, Really making these T1 bombers pay. There's an artillery piece that he's just taken out belonging to Citrus. Now one of the shields. The other shield would be a choice target. Now we've got these bricks from Mui moving in. OriginalAngel's able to do it. ASF here from Mastermandel do shoot a lot of them down. But I think the critical mission there has been achieved. We've got 5 bricks here. We've got more bombers coming in from OriginalAngel. What's the target this time? Unclear. Now we've got the Corsair fighter bombers. And looks like their priority target are the static point defense. 3 bricks remain. Another one coming further behind. Very easy to focus on nothing else. Actually, it certainly is where all the action is. In the middle, things relatively static. We've still got Berge trying to push back the T2 Navy using torpedo bombers. And Mui, with his first experimental, he needed something. And he's since going back to reclaim his mechs. He's building them at Tech 2. But if the bricks couldn't sort this incursion out, this unit certainly will. And I just wonder, how long does it take Team 2 to realise that there's a Monkey Lord being UEF? The artillery pieces do create these little balls of vision as the artillery impacts, one of the unique features. Let's say it's not the best feature in the world, but each to their own. Another bombing wave here. This Citrus actually got a Tech 2 going to Tech 3 headquarters factory over here. Well, that's just in time to be too late. As the Monkey Lord there's going to make short work of those factories. Meanwhile, further south, Snoog pushing down. He's got a Monkey Lord of his own, escorted with bricks and purses. I suspect players handing units off there. Oh, this is really nasty. These cruisers, the Seraphim cruisers. Are these jesters here from the Tech? They are there. The Tech 1 jesters, the gunship. Monkey Lord versus a whole bunch of purses. Does get 1 rank of vet. In come a huge wave of Corsair fighter bombers from Lieutenant. Followed up by the jesters. There's a lot of siege tanks here from Spectre Slave as well. They're going to primary on the Monkey Lord, and it looks like they're going to get it before it reaches its 2nd star. In comes a somewhat half-hearted attempt there from Ghost Monkey. Is completely outnumbered when it comes to ASF. Must be 10 to 1. Suppose he felt he had to do something. Silver lining there for Snoog. A few units remain, and he's going to get himself, well, if nothing else, a couple of mass points, a couple of support factories. FrostMonster retreating. Took himself the liberty of getting the TAP missile launcher. He's also got the Spearhead firing a few rockets in there for good measure. Alright, well at 28 minutes then, let's have a little look. Economic, oh, let's not. The raid here from Snoog, well, he had a choice between left and right. He picks left, at least from his point of view, and walks straight into a chicken there. And doing, well, this is what you would expect from a 1900, splitting the units in 2 halves. The chicken can only chase one of them. Also a few broadswords there from Citrus as well. And that will deal with this. That'll free up the chicken to pursue north. King's Spectre's base, and that's exactly what the chicken's doing. They're just 3 purses here. The rest of it is flak. So the rate of fire will be limited. And there goes the trailing Percy to the chicken. Chicken actually able to outrun these guys, it would seem. Yeah, so as we approach the 29th minute, we'll have a quick look on ecos. Live values, Team 2 slightly ahead. As we saw, it was 200 mass per tick flickers between 1 and 2. Call it 150. We've got our first nuke out. Where's that coming from? I'm not seeing it. Oh, here it is. Snoog. What is it with Snoog? I'm blind to what he's doing this game. Nuke going across. And it's on this way. Commanders are running long ways. And then it goes. Little more than a fire base there, but still it was undefended. It had Ravagers belonging to Mastermandel. Gotta hand it to Berge here. Somehow able to keep the pressure on, not allowing Lieutenant to completely overwhelm. You know, absent of these torpedoes attacks, I think it's fair to say that Lieutenant would have long since been Tech 3. Oh no, a Monkey Lord there. That must have been the hero. Monkey Lord goes down to missiles. Oh, he has been able to get in there and get a lot of this reclaim. But the threat from the Navy still persists. Oh, and a big air fight further south on the half-hour mark. Once again, favouring Team 2 massively. Silver lining, though, the disastrous air attack is followed over with a comprehensive push here from Snoog. He's got a lot of anti-air mixed in with this. There's also a chicken there from OriginalAngel. We'll have to see what happens to this one. Taking a look at mass totals, look at that. 174 versus 177, 175. So this is incredibly close. A minor advantage, it would seem, right now to Team 1. Those are the guys up top. Somehow have reclaimed slightly more mass, but if we take a look at the kills, about 100,000 favouring Team 2. That's about a 4-3 advantage in terms of kills to the players down south. So I think it's fair to say overall Team 2 doing much better on paper, as well as what it looks like in terms of map control.
Strategic launch.
Oh, I was wondering what those noises were. The Cybran TAP missile launcher on the subs. Insane range on those things. Citrus finds the time to pop a nuke out. Once again, it's making its way towards Buoy's base, who's only just rebuilt part of this. Does he have... Oh, he does have an anti... Oh, it's not loaded. It's only halfway done. And that missile is going to connect slap bang center. That is painful. Rui says, I hate you. I completely sympathize. We've got an experimental bomber here from Berge. It's a little confusing. It's fair to say that Team 2 completely dominate the skies. And there is the first bomb from the experimental bomber, and that was a choice target. What's that? 11, and at least 8 of those were T2 units. There is a response from Team 2. Mastermandel with his ASF. Kent making his way across also. Torpedo bombers sent out individually to try and pick up some targets. We've got yet another push in the middle. This chicken having the time of its life, able to exploit its range versus some of the T3 units there. In comes this Tech 3 bomber for a second run. Drops one right into the middle of a whole bunch of units there. The sniper bots get taken out straight away. The siege tanks go off after the... or what do you call it, the secondary explosion from that weapon. One of the changes that was added, I don't know, when was it? A year or two ago now. And this right here, I can only assume is a Billy. So we didn't hear the strategic missile launch. There's a Fat Boy, there's Percy's, there's a whole bunch of wreckage there as well. That's going to be in favouring Team 2 until, of course, Billy shows up. So where did that... here we go. Snoog, 15 kills. I'm unsure if they were all from the Billy or he had any before, but I'm guessing not many. The experimental bomber here is still going, which is... I don't understand this. Team 2 have complete air supremacy. They could take this out right away if they wanted. I mean, there's a fraction of the ASF waiting here. There's at least a couple more Navy units there. 40 kills so far. 34,000 mass to its name. Meanwhile, further to the north, we going for the Navy with the Crab, the Megalith. Billy coming the other way this time. Was that from Frost? Yes, it was. And that is going to connect quite nicely. We do see a response there, reaction. Snoog trying to split the units off as quickly as possible, but that was a beautiful strike, if ever there was. And what's this? 12,000 mass killed. That would have been much higher had Mui not split. Snoog, I beg your pardon. Snoog's response is to fire a Billy off to the way. Where's this one going? Well, I guess he was hoping to get a load of this. Hey, might still get it. There's a bunch of broadswords here. In it goes. There's a support commander as well. It connects to the face with the support commander. What's that? Just about 3,000 or so hit points remaining. Somehow this experimental bomber's still alive. It looks like somebody did have a go at it. It's got 60,000 mass killed. I dare say, while there was some mockery as to why you're building the experimental bomber, I think this guy is responsible for keeping Team 1 in the game with the amount of kills. That was painful. Billy right in the middle of those units there. How many mass kill now, if I can find him? Here he is. 22,000. Billy going the other way. Billy's left, right, and center. These here Tech 2 mass points. Why not? It's 18 mass per tick your friend doesn't have. Megalith over here with 21 kills. And if we take a look at the mass, it's almost 23,000. So getting a lot done. The torpedo launchers on the Megalith there actually causing a lot of damage to these cruisers. Got yet another nuke out. This time it's a real one. And there we go. The experimental bomber finally dealt with from Kent. I think it's fair to say it's a little like Kent, by the way, who has an enemy sat overhead with 1 kill so far. So Snoog going for the UEF satellite. Kent in the process of shielding up the base. And here is the first battleship from Lieutenant. And there is the Megalith, 28 kills. May get a few more if Citrus... Oh, he backs off. Oh, once again, Billy's going off all the time right now. Snoog with 28,000. Citrus with 22. So I guess it was from Snoog. Snoog with another one. He's firing these like a machine gun right now. Interesting here that FrostMonster isn't prioritizing TAC missile defense. Well, he has done further back. Here comes another. That right there's a support commander. That right there's a whole bunch of broadswords. That was a beautiful shot. Out comes yet another Billy. Could focus on nothing but... Okay, once again with the torpedo bombers going after the Navy. There's also an experimental unit here from Lieutenant who's decided to park it at the bottom of the sea. I don't understand his decision to give his opponents time to deal with. See, Berge is trying to do just that. And that right there, when a Billy goes so high, that's when it's been deflected. Look at that. It's about as high as a nuke is that. So just pause the game real quick. See, there it is. Yeah. I do like the addition of the icon. Well played, whoever thought of that. Billy goes back the other way. And of course, a deflected Billy can now be shot down by TAC missile defense. Once upon a time, if you deflected missiles, be they Billy or otherwise, they were still counted as a friendly unit, so they couldn't be shot down. There's a whole bunch of TAC missile defense going here, and I don't understand. How have they not... Oh, they have finally shut it down. I was going to say, that took a lot of shooting down. Spectre Slave once again trying to cross the ways with these artillery pieces. I guess it's a little bit late for that now. The time for that has passed. Maybe they were just spare units. Although credit to Citrus, he's continued to deny these mass points from Mui. There's 4, another 2, and another 3 there. That's, you know, 9 mass. That's, by the time you count them off, a lot. Meanwhile, over here, Kent has made landfall with the experimental megalith. There's 2 more down here from Lieutenant. I don't understand this decision. He's also got the Navy. In fact, I think it's fair to say he's playing as if he's AFK right now. Oh, okay, I'd take that back. He does move a Navy there. Once again, OriginalAngel going into a fight, single-handed. We see over here that Ghost Monkey's got ASF as well. There was no organization there at all. Snoog talking about throwing for the 2nd time this game. And Ghost Monkey thought about it and then thought, I'll get there just in time to be too late. And that right there is really, really unfortunate. I don't know if that was a misclick or what, but team clearly not happy. OriginalAngel thought we could have had air if he'd have gone in. Megalith over here dealing with T3 Navy now from Citrus, who did have the sub but hadn't built any battleships till just now. But this here is a problem. A full health Megalith. There's a single chicken going up against it. There are also a few Percys over here. Okay, does have a few siege tanks. Right now, the Percys are struggling versus these shields, I think it's fair to say. There's a couple of layered shields, and the Percys are firing through one into another. And a nice move here from Berge coming around the back of this Megalith. He gets a mobile shield over the top of the chicken. Megalith. This was a full health Megalith. I thought for sure it was going to pick this chicken. Oh, it might still do. It might still do. That was so close. The chicken saves it. A whole bunch of siege tanks there. And a nice chunk of reclaim now for Berge, who's... Oh, in come a few whalers now. Let's have a little look. Oh, look how quickly this has been built from Ghost Monkey. A Maver is about 80% online. Oh, lovely Billy strike once again into what appears to be Snoog's advancing army. Snoog decides to retreat. There was a chicken picked off. That's because they're 2 further back here defending from Spectre Slave. We've also got a couple of fat boys now from Team 2 and a bug. We've still got this Megalith further down. The 2 fat boys unloading on these T3 units. Snoog with no choice there but to retreat. I mean, every time he advances, he's going to get billied anyway. It's kind of an awkward situation for a T3 army. In fact, there was a Billy chasing back the retreat. Take a look at the number of SAMs that Ghost Monkey has established. Let's have a quick look. 71 SAM sites. I guess that's indicative of a player who feels airs lost. We have a similar, well, I say similar number. We do have a similar idea here from Kent. Let's have a look. He's got 28, so about a third as many, but Kent's going for a Scathis. That's almost halfway done.
Strategic launch detected.
And out comes yet another nuke. This could be a defensive nuke. Team 2 hip to it. Both players in that push backing away there. And that's actually a perfect response. Look, everybody moving away. Here comes the nuke. And that could be a Billy nuke there. I don't think a nuclear missile actually destroys projectiles. So that nuke was a defensive nuke. Didn't happen. And that right there. Oh, the Loyalists. Loyalists deflect the Billy. Nicely played. And I think I just saw some long-range rounds. Yes, you did. The Maver here is online. Not yet with any kills. Mui's obviously asked to take control. Ghost Monkey, of course, building it. And the rounds are now incoming. So 42 minutes. Once again, another push here from Team 2. Mastermandel. Oh, no. He's going for a megalith, but it's surrounded with flak. He's not breaking off. And this time Ghost Monkey moves in with an ASF fight that he can win versus those megalith. Another Billy strike there. FrostMonster down to half health. Must have been Billied. He's got a few units here. They've got a Billy target on them. There's a whole bunch of Percys here. He's got to move them now if he wants to keep them alive. We've got the two fat boys here as well. And FrostMonster is backing off. Here comes the Billy. And he might have just escaped the worst of it. Perhaps the couple of guys on the back there are going to get it. Actually, a few more succumbing that I thought. Blast radius. Kind of scary on those things. But yeah, that could have been much worse. Fat boy here from FrostMonster. Soul Ripper over here going after the chicken. Chicken going after the battleship. Lieutenant able to get his battleships out the way just in time. But Berge now sending these Percys across the way. Interesting place to hide out there from Lieutenant. Perhaps feels that if he's got Navy control and his team have air, they won't ever find him. Navy here from Citrus continues to pummel and actually is making a lot of progress here versus Mui's base. Mui's got an experimental online. In the same moment, Spectre brings one on. But this attack here, for the first time, Berge with units on the other side. There's a chicken, heavily damaged though. We do have a megalith waiting. We've got another attack further north. Come on, man, you've got your bug here. And Citrus. I guess he had to go, or he crashed, one or the other. And at 44 minutes, that's another commander that's just gone. It's... oh, it must have been a Billy. Here's this attempted landfall further down from Berge. That's not going to get too much further. But further north, we've got more Billies defending. We've got FrostMonster with a fat boy being screened by a bunch of Percys. We've also got a support commander. That's going to stand no chance by itself. Experimental bomber again. This time from Team 2. That was a beauty. 34,000 kills in one shot. Snoog, I beg your pardon, once again backing off. Gotta say, FrostMonster playing incredibly well for a 1200 here in the mid. I don't believe it. The back of the base, Kent has gone up. There was all this build capacity. No doubt the Maver and the single SAT were homing in. It's unclear if they were targeting the commander or they were trying to target volatile structures. Either way, the air player for Team 2 is down. What a turn of events. Team 1 now slightly ahead on the score. That was a nuke. They must have come from those subs. I don't know if that was a bit of overkill there. There seemed to be more than one. There must have been something of high priority. But if we take a look back here, the Maver is completely shielded, and the only way to base is through a very heavily SAM-sighted area. As I like to say, Baghdad in the Gulf War. It's arguably one of the heaviest defended ground-to-air airspaces in the world. We've got a huge number of strategic bombers moving around here from Mastermandel. So you got I say a huge, it's 20. It's reasonably enough to cause concern. Chicken coming through the water here from the OriginalAngel, trying to get into Spectre Slave's forward base. Got a lot of spy planes over here from Ghost Monkey. He's going to be able to see what's happening, and actually Mastermandel realizes it, backs off. In comes 2 nukes. This here, an experimental nuke launcher, I think. I beg your pardon, it's T3, but it ain't going to matter much longer because it's about to eat a nuke right into the middle of Spectre Slave's base. He did manage to get one off just before. That's going into the middle, and there are a lot of units there. That was a good kill. It's a shame we can't see quite how much mass was taken out, but it was a lot. Spectre Slave is up here with 2 experimental bombers. We've also got the strategic bombers here from Mastermandel. They're going to have to work together some. Mastermandel going in with his seemingly single-handed. Spectre Slave following it up with one. Well, what happened to the other experimental bomber? It's all the way over here. This is a terrible arrangement. All of those strategic bombers shot down for naught. That was, I mean, so far it'd been Team 1 with the terrible airplay, but that was horrific. In comes another experimental bomber. It's made it quite far the way through. There it goes. Nowhere near the Maver. Does take out a few Corsair fighter bombers in constellation. And yeah, Spectre Slave realizes the gig's up. He's, which is unfortunate because, I mean, look, they still got air in the area. Meanwhile, Spectre Slave defeated by OriginalAngel. That, I can't believe that single chicken made it all the way through. So heavily defended. The OriginalAngel continues to push. I mean, you know, my man of the match thinking it has to be OriginalAngel, the 1100, responsible for several crucial plays. Not least they're taking out a 1600. Assisting in air for what it's worth. Of course, all of those Tech 1 bombers. Here come 2 more experimental bombers from Lieutenant-lich as well. Look at this. He's trying to time it together. Oh, instant death with the commander. Experimental bomber number 1. Here's number 2. That's detonated and falls onto the Maver. Maver doesn't lose a single hit point. No effing way. No way. You just had a commander detonate 2 experimental bombers and there's not a single hit point missing. What is this? Meanwhile, another commander goes on. I do not understand. There is a lot of confusion as to how that Maver lived, I have to say. I share that confusion. Lieutenant, meanwhile, trying to push through the middle. It's a whole bunch of Percys here, and I think this is the last saving grace.
Strategic launch detected.
Team 2, who seem to head all... I mean, now look at it. They're down to just 2 players. The only player Team 1 lost is Dusky. They're going to have to keep pushing. They can't afford to wait. It's now or never. In comes another nuke. Oh no, that must have been the Maver. Here comes the nuke. And right here is Mastermandel. He's trying to build a Maver himself. A little bit late in the day. In goes the Newt, and with it, Team Mastermandel lobs in the towel. Wow, what a fantastic game. I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome Jason to the Sport Commanders. Don't forget, there are now 39 casts over there, so if you want to see more, do consider clicking on the link and checking us out. And until next time, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. From me, deep inside the UK, take care. Bye-bye. Till next week, see ya, bye-bye.